And I guess one day also somebody asked me why at this stage I'm still bothered to teach and share information. So I said, well, one day I will need you to help me, right? And when that happens, I can't possibly get out the bed and say, no, that's not how you do it. Do like that, right? So it's a bit late. So I thought, whatever we know, we should share. Okay, so that one day all of us will need someone else's help. So there's no secret.
Yes. I also had the opportunity during that period to meet up with a Nobel Prize winner. His name is Barry Marshall, and he actually started fantastic work in Helicobacter research. And from there, we actually managed to follow up and cure many people with Helicobacter associated disease such as peptic ulcer and even now gastric cancer, mold lymphoma.
The research that we do has to be relevant to our practice. Many people around the world do research, but they do it in their different work environments. And very often it is easier for us to just look at their conclusions and say, okay, I'll take that and I'll use it locally. But my patients are different. They function in a different world. They have different cultural backgrounds, and therefore the conclusions from studies done overseas may not necessarily be applicable either completely or partially. We need to know our patients. We need to know how they will respond to what treatments can be made available to them, but that way we will, and that's research. So we use research as a means of improving patient care.
I think it's important to start small and to reach for the low-hanging fruit. And then after that, the other opportunities are there. I think nowadays there are lots and lots of funding sources, there are lots of grants that you can tap on, and there's a whole lot of senior talent at Duke-NUS that you can actually use either as resource persons, as collaborators, or as a formal mentor in the PhD program. But starting at the start, I would suggest that you start low, start small.
My advice would be that when you are junior, you are much fresher in terms of basic science, in terms of much of the theory. So these are your strengths. When you're fairly senior as a senior faculty, I think your many years experience will be useful to impart that knowledge. So I think within this campus and within our cluster, I think how to bring out the best in everybody to be a good clinician firstly, secondly then to teach according to your strengths. So I think that would be very important and useful.
Incorporate the teaching in your clinical work. Like for example, when you're conducting a ward round, you add a few minutes to teach the medical students or the junior, even the nurses in the ward round. It doesn't really take extra time, but it takes an extra effort. You need to make the extra effort to incorporate teaching when you are doing your clinical work, like during ward round. So very often you need to spend the extra time and actually verbalize your thoughts and work through with them your thought process so that they can actually learn from you. Yeah, so these are the little bit of time that you require.
I think in life we are always multitasking, and also in our professional career now, in I think other professions as well, they also have to multitask. Therefore, it's important one knows how to be able to plan their day, plan their hours, and plan their practice according to what is required.
The old days, we work very hard, and most of the clinical work take up much of our time. We do all these things before we start our work and at the end of the day after we finish our clinical work. And today the system is much better. You're given protected time to pursue your passions outside in your clinical work. So I think time managing is very important, and one has to manage their time and see how you can juggle between your clinical work and pursue your interests, whether it's research, in education. And I always believe that education is very important in our practice because they are the future generation, the doctor who are going to look after us. So we need to train them well to make sure that they are better than us in the future, so that we'll be well taken care of when we are old.